It's a very different thing to be doing book reviews from writing curriculum. The two things are completely separate. With curriculum, you're going over all of the essential topics and then arranging them in a sequence that is most understandable and the easiest for students for learning the subject overall. That's curriculum. For publications within Himalayan art, publications, we have to try and find books that fit within the curriculum. And then there are all these other books that might be reference books or books that are just not used at all because they have very little value. So for art history, there are some key books, and they're expensive. They're not books that one necessarily wants to purchase. If you can find a PDF of these, then all the better. But we do have three publications that are important for art history. After these three books, then there are hundreds of books that deal with more specific topics of art history, either medium or a specific period or a specific style or a specific region. And some of these can be very important, but only within the context of that style or that region or that medium. In terms of overall, we have three, and we're not going to go into too much detail. I just want to give an introduction to the art history books of Himalayan art and how three really stand above. And when I say they stand above, some of them, yes, they're regarded generally by scholars. And then, of course, we have to understand that this is my selection. So if there are some books here that some scholars don't think are as important, well, then that's fine. But in my experience, these are the three most important. Now, the first is Tibetan Religious Art in 2 volumes by Logan or Triap, depending how you pronounce what part of Tibet you're from. Anyway, his name is Logan Dagyab, Dagyab, and it was published by Harasowitz out of Wiesbaden in 1977. So this Tibetan religious art, he talks about the different types of art and the different mediums of art, and he also goes into some history of some of the topics, iconographic forms, such as the 16 elders, the 16 Naten, the Naten Chudruk, also called Lohan or Arhats. Now, the second set of books, again, is 2 volumes, and it's the Tibetan Painted Scrolls by Giuseppe Tucci, and that was published by, actually, the Italian government in 1949. And the books are very expensive, and they would often be in special collections in libraries. But there's a lot of tremendous information in these 2 volumes. Now, the third book is much more modern. It's called Tibetan Thangka Painting, and it's by David and Janice Jackson, illustrated by Robert Beer, and I believe this was published out of Serindia in 1984. Now, this publication, Tibetan Thangka Painting, is actually a text that explains how paintings are made. And it doesn't matter, yes, there's the word Thangka in the title, but we're talking about paubas and patas. Any kind of scroll work painting from India, Nepal, China, Mongolia, and especially if it's done more within a Tibetan school framework for painting. And this is the best book that I'm aware of that actually goes into the details of pigments, of drawing, gives some references for the Indian source texts for iconometric measurement. So these 3 are the most essential. And we will talk about these 3 books individually and what their strengths and weaknesses are at a later date. So don't forget, press the subscribe button, press the like button, and also you can join HAR on Patreon.